Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mr. Cat Invitational. We're here with the lower bracket semifinals. WG.Unity facing off against Mineski. This is a best-of-3 for elimination. Loser here heading home. Winner moving on to the grand finals where Sig Trust, not Sig Trust, this is not the grand finals. It's the lower bracket finals up next where Execration awaits. Winner of that one will be up against Sig Trust in the grand finals tomorrow. I'm Zyori, joined again by Rhyme, casting on moonducktv today. Rhyme, how you feeling now? Second series, warmed up. How's it going? Whoops, forgot to unmute myself, Rhyme. I just did an intro. How you doing, man? How you feeling?
Oh, pretty good. Bit tired, but let's go. Batrider first pick from Mineski. They banned out Shadow Demon Invoker. So, interesting. People banning out Darkseers and Naga Sirens against Mineski. So I guess the Naga ban is more aimed at Miracle.
Yes.
Naga's pretty... Naga carry has been better than it's been like in the last 2 years, I'd say. It's been getting more and more popular. So, yeah. I haven't really seen either of these teams play, so this will be interesting.
I think Mineski has been running it more than most of the other teams in this region. Some teams do prioritize the Naga still, though, not even just Miracle, just as, you know, your Radiance carry, same old stuff that we're used to. It is sort of hard to execute with. You really need that top-tier Naga player. It's harder than ever now. There's a lot of aggression in this meta, a lot of roaming supports. We saw a couple of quick games in our first series as such. And more often than not, it feels like Naga strats can fall flat unless you really have a good supporting cast to make space with her. Batrider, a nice safe opener, always a little bit of flexibility here. I bet Mineski will second pick the Lion. They love it. It's Ninja Boogie's hero. Just wait for it, Rhyme. Just wait for it.
I'm waiting. I want to see Warriors Gaming pick up some kind of offlaner or carry and Oracle, but no, they do not. They decide they are going to take the Lion. So, Mineski are not going to grab it. So,
deny pick.
I listened to what you said,
Aha.
and you've lied to me. You've told me a fib.
They would have done it. I don't know what Ninja Boogie is going to play now, though. Mineski just had this this roster shuffle, so now they've got Ninja Boogie Miracle. I think I've seen him play Lion like almost every game that they've played in Mr. Cat since this shuffle. I'm actually curious what they have in mind now.
Reserve time.
Yeah, I'm not used to this. Just people just first picking Lion. They don't do that where I come from. They don't.
Yeah, honestly, I really do think it's a bit of a block pick, and probably a support that they like playing, but it's the Boogie Classic. And now the Sand King. Whoa, daddy. Curious what they're going to do with this. Could be a support, could be a core. We've seen Sand King all over the place, man. Across the metas as well. He's becoming a more popular pick.
Yeah, he really is. The team that's most known for picking it is Na'Vi. And they play it off lane, and they play it with Tranquil Boots, and they kill the enemy safe laner 3 times in 5 minutes, and then they usually win the game in 30. And they did that like 7 times in the summit. Yeah, they also had Dendi going mid. He would just get like Boots 1 bottle, and then he'd just get like 9-minute blink usually, something like that. And then he would just try and run around and do whatever a Sand King does. So I think Sand King this early, it's relatively flexible, but you can pretty much, to be safe, you want to pick like a safe laner that doesn't get really crushed, so probably a ranged safe laner for Mineski is likely, so they don't have to deal with the Caustic Finale and then risk that you might get dual laned with the Sand King.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think you have to think twice about this being a core Sand King that could even, like, as we were just saying, potentially rotate mid if you wanted to go for some sort of a melee hero there. No Dragon Knight for Mineski headed mid this game, I don't think.
Most likely not, because
Thinking
then you'll get
hard, though.
DK gets heavily Sand Kinged.
Yep. A lot of things they could do now. Batrider, one of the most, or one of the least revealing openers, I'd say. Very few drafts where you can make a case that the Batrider just doesn't work. You could say he falls flat, maybe he doesn't have somewhere to farm, but as a first pick, I think it's pretty safe. I think he's got flexibility to possibly be in the mid also. Disruptor, great team fighting support, and pretty good against the Sand King. Glimpse, Static Storm, Kinetic Field, all things the Sand King doesn't really like to deal with.
Now, one thing I don't know is if either of these teams have a tendency to pick Drow. And I'm hoping that they don't, because I don't like watching Drow. I don't like casting Drow. I don't like Drow.
You don't like Drow, so you are like the Bizarro Toby, everything that Toby isn't. Because he loves Drow.
Well, I don't know.
I think Drow's his favorite.
You could say so. I think in that respect I would be the opposite. But I don't like Drow. I don't like playing against Drow.
Why not,
because
man?
sometimes you
Come on.
play like, cause whenever I play safe lane in my pubs, I'm just sitting there going, this is a good game. I've like got a fourth pick carry or something like that. You know, got a good AM or Morphling game going, and then you just see Drow, and you just know that if you don't do something in 20 minutes, your Rax is going to die and you're going to lose, and that makes me sad. It just makes me sad.
Okay.
Because you know on the other end there is a Drow player who's just sitting there and he's just going, I'm going to farm, I'm going to buy home the Dom, and I'm going to walk at towers, and then I'm going to win. And you just have to know that that guy on the other side of the PC, on the end of the internet somewhere, he's winning and taking your points from you because he's picked Drow and you haven't. And I don't think that hero is a good hero.
Well, maybe
Not
you
because
should
it's-
just start
yeah.
playing Drow, bro. That's what it sounds like to me.
Maybe I should take the leap of, I wouldn't say faith, but
Well, earlier you were talking about how much Terrorblade you've been playing, and I think 2 patches ago, that's almost worse, man.
yeah, well, I played it in its dying days. I think the last 2 days before the nerf hit him. I played some Terrorblade. I was first picking it. I wasn't doing it in the morally ambiguous way, you know. I was just first picking it, saying I'm going to pick Terrorblade and I'm going to see what you guys can do. And then I had like a 70% win rate, so it was alright. This is over like a 6-game sample size.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Well, either way, the Drow Ranger going to be banned out here in game number 1 alongside the Axe, as well as the Morphling and Sven coming out from Mineski. Okay, so a lot of cores limited here. We saw some big Axe plays in our first series. Not something Mineski wanted to deal with here. Now, how did WG.Unity start to transition this draft? They'll probably leave it open-ended with that Sand King pick, but looking for another core here, I think, for sure. Never mind.
Well,
That's an
that's
ogre.
an ogre.
3 sports for WG.Unity. So it is a core Sand King now, almost guaranteed.
Yeah, Sand King will be either mid or offlane, and most likely offlane. But these supports of like someone on. Do you call them WG or do I call them Warriors Gaming? What do I call them? Is it
Whatever you
WG?
please. It's WG.Unity, Warriors Gaming Unity. I think Unity is a sponsor, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Okay,
but-
someone on them has decided to say, we need stuns. And as a result, they have picked a lot of stuns. But I'm not really sure that... Yeah, they just picked Jug now. So you've got to deal with this Jug when you've got 3 heroes, none of which do any remarkable physical damage. So... Yeah. I'm just thinking... This Jug is most likely going to be middle, because you don't usually third pick a Juggernaut and then decide, okay, we're going to put it safe lane. In fact, Juggernaut rarely ever goes safe lane nowadays, because it's just not really a very good, like, hard carry. It's very good at fighting, if you have a strong fighting lineup, but it doesn't really have that much of a place as being your, we need this hero to be very farmed at 50 minutes kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like this pickup from the Jug, and I think that WG, as I will now call them, have to kind of find a good matchup in mid lane. Probably Sand King does okay with Caustic, and they decided they pick up the AM. So they don't mess around.
I knew there was something that they'd want to combo with that Bloodlust, and Anti-Mage will be the choice. Pairs very nicely with the Ogre for that, and they have a lot of initiation power now. Potentially 2 Blink Dagger carriers plus the Blink and Anti-Mage. They're going to be all over the place. Pretty good game to have a Disruptor as such, but this is a little bit scary. Now Rubik for Mineski, another control support. A lot of good stuff to steal, just harping on the stuns of Warriors Gaming. Well, now Rubik has a way to give them a taste of their own medicine. Also, Nullfield definitely going to come in handy this game. The poor man's pipe, very good against Lion, Sand King, and Ogre.
Yeah, it's a pretty good Rubik game. You've obviously, you pointed out you have the Blink to steal. I think the best 2 spells here to steal are probably the Blink and the Burrow Strike. Because any spell that gives movement to Rubik is very, very valuable. And when you get Ags on Rubik, you get the Ags Burrow Strike. And I had a pub recently where I was just having fun doing that all day. Just stealing Burrow Strike. I was just like trying to commit suicide almost just to steal it so I could just mess around with it.
Yeah, it's quite good. Terrorblade now, final ban from WG. Assuming it is the mid Jug that you were talking about, limiting one of the illusion-based safe laners. And for Warriors Gaming, they'll need their off lane, probably. I think they're going to match up the Sand King mid against Jug. We'll see what they want to grab in the off lane. You know, something like a Tide Hunter. Nope, they've got Rubik. They don't need any more stun. What is the off laner here? Darkseer has been first banned. Axe is out.
I'm still,
They actually
yeah, I'm
banned
just thinking that.
Dragonite. So maybe they're
I
thinking it's
think,
off-lane Sand King.
yeah, it's probably gonna be offlane Sanking. I think Jog, like, you might do fine in the first waves where Jog doesn't have high levels in his spin, but after that he just starts spin. When he hits level 5, he can just spin every wave. So you can't really expect to force the Jog out, and then Jog will just start free farming. And then Sanking, if he can't really stop the other hero from farming, he's not really the best hero to kind of go, okay, then you start farming. I'm gonna go farm for 10 minutes. He's not really the kind of hero where you want to do that.
Right.
So. Mineski, they've got 7 seconds left. They want to pick their safe lane. There we go. Nice stealer.
All right.
So-
Two built-in BKBs there. Very nice.
Yeah. Nakes has a interesting matchup versus AM. Like in a man fight, he should be fine, but AM farms so much faster, and AM has a blink, obviously. So Lifestealer has a hard time really killing him, but they do have tools to do that. They have got the Disruptor Glimpse and the Batrider. So if Lifestealer gets enough farm that he can kill AM in the duration of those spells, then that should be good.
Whoa!
And Leshrac.
Whoa!
That is a very interesting pick here.
Okay, now this is not a C special. We have seen some weird things in Mr. Cap, but I don't think we've seen a single Leshrac unless it's happened in the games that I was not privy to. Also surprised to see a Lesh picked up against a Juggernaut, Disruptor, and Lifestealer. I think all three of those heroes very good against the Pony Boy. Just kind of in general. Even Rubik as another support. Again, the Null Field. This is so much magic damage. Now for Mineski, all they need to do is buy a pipe, 5-man, and they're kind of okay. I mean, it's
Kind of.
not quite that simple,
it's
but
hard to...
I mean, isn't Lifestealer just incredible against Lesh? Wouldn't most teams kind of pick Lifestealer against a core Lesh?
Yeah, okay, the thing is here is, one, Lifestealer has to have a decent laning phase. He's got good supports to make sure that he does so. I just wondering, Miracle plays middle right for this team. But that is a mid-jump.
It's not set in stone. They rotate based on how the lane looks, how the hero setup is. Usually it's Raging Potato mid and Miracle safe lane, at least a few games we've seen from Mineski so far, but I've definitely seen Miracle play mid on heroes he's comfortable on.
Yeah, because there's a scenario here where WG basically run over the game with their supports, and they make the enemy supports unable to really rotate to the mid lane. The Jug has to just spin to get farm, and then he can't really go anywhere. He finds it difficult to use Omni Slash, and then AM has a decent time, farms up a decently timed Battle Fury, Vlad's Manta, and then gets his BKB, and then they take Roche, and then take good fights. Like, that is a scenario that exists, but I think that this Lesh is going to have a hard time pressuring the Jug, and their supports, if they can't really get something done bottom early, the Nakes will have a very, very, very easy game. So,
yeah,
it's kind of curious.
It certainly is. I have not seen much Lesh on this patch. I think he was picked once or twice in the Summit, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was Star Ladder. He's been picked up a little bit. Can still be a pretty strong hero. I mean, he was completely broken. They nerfed him quite a bit. Lightning Storm, kind of a shell of its former self in terms of damage output, mana cost, all that jazz. But still a lot of versatility in this hero. Can flash push down towers with Diabolic Edict. Still a pretty big stun. Nice AoE chunker there. I have some faith in the Leshrac. I want to see it work here because I do love this hero.
Ninja Boogie immediately TPing down, placing a very common ward. Like, I think most teams are very wary of doing this now, just TPing in, when you're on Radiant side, just TPing into the middle tower and then putting a ward between Dire Jungle and the Rune, because it's very, very common to do. And also, Lion smoked up his entire team at the start and then TP'd down and placed the ward bottom. Sanking doesn't... Yeah, so Sanking's going to be offlane. Lesh is just going to be sitting here. They're probably going to try and get the top rune for him, but they're sitting with 4 heroes ready to contest this. This might actually be a level 1 fight.
Yeah, and WG.Unity have a pretty darn good level 1 lineup. Mineski's is not bad either, but Unity have just a little more stun. Ogre in particular, not only being a really high EHP hero, but Ignite does an insane amount of damage and has a long-lasting 20% slow that makes it a lot easier for Lesh to land a stun, spam out Lightning Storm, whatever spell it is he goes for first. I think likely to be Split Earth, but we'll see what he actually wants to grab if this fight does start.
Yeah, I'm not sure who wins. I think Dire should win this fight, but Radiant is still staying around. They feel confident. They've got Jug Spin.
Here we go. Lifestealer going in hot. He's got Rage at level 1. They go hard onto Nana. Lesh just trying to run away from it. The BKB
go
effects have
very bad.
expired, and now it could turn the other way. Stun from Sand King, Raging Potato getting locked down. Follow-up stun from Lion, secures the kill. Disruptor makes it to the high ground. Sand King makes it away, and a 1-0 goes the way of WG.Unity. Just superior control and damage with those good early level 1 spells.
Yeah, that's an interesting fight, but I've never seen an ogre like knowing that you have a level 1 fight go, I need to skill Fire Blast.
Yeah, me neither.
That's not a very common thing to do, and I think that might be an error. I think they could have got 2 kills, but obviously that's hindsight is
2020 indeed.
2020, yeah.
I mean, we've been seeing now ogres pick up usually just 1 point in Fire Blast for the stun, maybe 2 at level 3, just so you have that extra damage, but it's Ignite all the way. The damage scales very well. Even a 20-second slow for 8, or 20% slow for 8 seconds is so useful. Good job here from Afu on the Lion. Blocks the pull, gets the aggro back, and not going to be able to disrupt the lane equilibrium quite yet, and this will shove into the tower.
Yep, it will, so they're just basically denying quite a lot of XP to these supports. And I'm interested that Mineski decided to go aggro tri-lane here. I think that this is quite a good decision, but it's just, I'm worried that their supports aren't going to get the most here. And actually they managed to get the creep equilibrium right by their tower, so Nakes is probably get a free farm here. And then AM is going to have a harder time getting any more CS.
I mean, AM,
although if he buys a poor man shield, I don't think they can really threaten him very much.
Yeah, exactly. And AM's not normally your ideal. There it is, the ideal hero for a tri-lane, but neither is Lifestealer. And I think this is pretty bold going up against an Ogre Lion, especially seeing Ogres put early points in Bloodlust. The AM going to be that much more mobile. It'll be that much easier for them to chase people down. This is pretty rocky, and all right, they had a duel under the tier 1 tower mid lane. Missed that one, folks. Sorry about that. Nana gets a solo kill on Miracle's Juggernaut as Lesh. Pretty sure on paper that one is not supposed to happen at level 3.
Yeah, no hero should be killing each other in this lane, but I'm also, the reason they went aggro tri-lane is because it gives them this bot matchup. And if you look at the CS, it's a bit drastic.
It certainly is. 2-1 on the Sand King, 11-9 on the Bat Rider. Bocarino by Bocarino, doing quite well for himself. This Bat Rider actually leading the CS, tied with Raging Potato.
Yeah, so he's doing rather well, and the Sand King sitting level 2, more than a full level behind. So this Sand King is going to have a miserable time. And I'm wondering, really, how does he get back into it? Does this Sand King have a mechanism? He doesn't have a hard camp, because that's been blocked already.
I mean,
so,
he sort of does. The Sand King can always go into the jungle to make up farm. The problem is then you're completely sacking this safe lane where Bat Rider is. I mean, he's already free farming, so I guess it's not a huge difference. He will do a cheeky little play here and pull the creep wave back to his tower so we can at least get some experience and some farm. Though I reckon this won't quite be enough. We'll have to do this a couple of times.
Cool. Be careful, buddy. Okay, he had the healing ward up, so Leshrac didn't feel like he could pop Edict and get the kill there, but that was a bit dangerous.
Yeah, Jug is still winning the CS war. I mean, solo kill hurts, but this mid lane not as one-sided as it could be. Oh, almost catches the stun there.
Yeah, Lesh is just buying 2 null talismans and he's just hitting him. So he's forcing Miracle to pay for every single second that he wants to last it, but it doesn't seem to be quite working out. Although, yeah, Lesh is going to go down.
Oh, you're right. Miracle does chase him. Edict does a bit of return damage, but not going to be enough. I keep thinking these kills are going to be up in the top lane, but it's the mid that's been completely action-packed. Now 1 apiece. Miracle should pull into the head, into the lead.
Yeah, so he gets that kill. Now he's going to get his bottle. He's going to bottle up to full, and then he's going to push this wave out, and then he's going to go get a rune. If he gets the top rune and Lion can't contest it, yep, he's going to get the top rune. Lion just about missed it, so...
Almost.
Yeah, Jug's good to go for this lane now. He's going to get his level 6, and Leshrac won't even have boots at that point. Leshrac doesn't have his bottle yet, so all Miracle needs to do, really, is get his level 6, and then start playing up on the Lesh. And then that's just horribly scary for any middle hero against Jug.
I mean, that's the drawback of going for a build like this with a double null tally windlace. It's great harassment, but if you misstep, if you die, it gives such an advantage to the other side because now he just doesn't have that same level of sustainability. All 3 lanes going very well for Mineski. Their cores all at the top of the net worth chart. Bat Rider still continuing to dominate on the Sand King. 30 last hits compared to his humble 5. So it's really just getting worse. And up top, the aggro try is not doing bad. They're not really finding too many kills. They will initiate onto Ogre right now, but Raging Potato still keeping up the CS, beating the Anti-Mage. A full fight now, ready to break out. Jules taking big damage from the AM. Glimpse back, buys him a little bit of time, but Zaki survives through all of that, and they do turn it on the Disruptor. Now this tri-lane starting to get punished from Mineski as they will be pushed back. The Ogre is just too goddamn beefy. Stout Shield. Oof.
So, Leshrac is now just straight up walking to bot. Batrider doesn't have Firefly, so he might just die here.
Yes,
yeah, he's
stun
dead.
connects straight away. Edict, and you pop on the Pulse Nova. Bocarino cancels his TP. I think he was dead either way.
Yeah, he was definitely dead.
Nothing you could do.
He just saves Leshrac a bit of mana on his Pulse Nova, actually. So
yeah. So goes 1 for 1. Sand King dying, not too surprising, but Leshrac rotating down, getting a solo kill actually helps quite a bit. Now Sand King TP's mid straight away. There are 3 heroes inbound, and they could have a go. Looks like Juggernaut instead wants this double damage rune, and
don't have any vision yet.
Perhaps not. Yeah, they don't. Okay.
So Leshrac gets that kill. He actually salvages his lane. He's got his bottle and a clarity. So if we look at net worth, he's sitting on top. So this mid lane is very strange things are happening, but these strange things seem to be helping out the Lesh.
For now, at least. Double damage in the bottle. A Miracle. He's also level 7, so Omni Slash makes maxed out Blade Fury. There is some pretty serious damage output coming if they can take another fight. Blow for blow with the Sand King. How is this one going to work out? Miracle taking a lot of damage to start it off, but Rubik is nearby. Miracle just trying to get in position to maybe use the Omni Slash, but it's a 4-on-2. Won't have the damage for it. Now they have to back out. Ninja Boogie left behind. Lesh getting credit for that one, and now Miracle could be in some trouble as well as Healing Ward gets taken out. They don't dive the tower too deep. Happy with just a turnaround kill on the Rubik after the Sand King got initiated on.
Yeah, that's just kind of interesting. There seems to be this kind of standoff going on middle with just Miracle and Leshrac. They're both farming relatively evenly, but I think the main question of this game is whether this Jug Nake's 2-core really gets off the ground and starts pressuring towers before this AM can really get online. Because this AM is going to... He's got quite a bit of good XP. He's farming decently. He's sitting 3rd on net worth. And I think late game, I don't think they can really match him, in all honesty. So I'm just waiting to see if this Batrider gets out of control, because I think he's the main hero that's going to move around.
One of the games where I thought Batrider would rush a Blink Dagger, and he stopped off for Arcane Boots, which is kind of peculiar here. We'll hold that thought, though, as Afu initiated on. He gets pulled back by the Telekinesis. A couple of auto attacks later. Raging Potato has another kill up on the scoreboard. I think it works out as long as they stay splitting like this. I guess I just thought they'd want to use Infest Bombs a bit sooner rather than later, having Batrider with this kind of a start. But I guess not.
Okay, but basically the way they want to do it is you have the Batrider sitting on safe lane. He's probably going to go Mana Boots into Drum, and then he might even get like an Ether Lens or something like that. And then you'll see him probably going for the Blink Dagger. But you don't need to go it straight away. Because, okay, say what happens if you're Batrider in this game, you blink in, and then there's 3 stuns to counteract. Okay, so you need to have the Nakes with you if you really want to do something. Because you don't have any follow-up currently, because both your supports are level 4. So you're basically taking time away from your Nakes farming and yourself farming to go for these ganks if you pick up Blink Dagger. Whereas if you just go Mana Boots into Drum or something like that, you're farming at the same time and you're just accepting that in 10 minutes you're confident playing the game.
Down bottom, Lasso onto Nana. Looks like this one will yield a nice easy kill from Mineski. 3-on-1, not too much a Lesh can do. I think that's the first lasso from the Batrider. It secures a kill. Very nice.
Yeah, this Batrider's getting decent farm. He's not doing as well as I thought because of the Leshrac killing him, obviously. But now you can see the Sand King.
He's out of mana.
Lifestealer's under attack, yeah.
There's a couple of stick charges. Miracle's now in. Raging Potato might still survive this. He pops the stick, mitigates just a little bit of damage. Now healing from the ward of Jug, and they actually do turn it around on the Lion.
Yeah, they gave him time to stick, so the Mana Void didn't kill him. That was interesting.
Now Zaki, out of mana, running out of options here. He'll be burned down by the Batrider. 3 stacks of Sticky. It's a 2-for-0. Mineski have to be happy with that. They kill the enemy's core, and then they rotate up and get another double as they keep their Lifestealer alive. It doesn't get much better than that.
It really doesn't. And now they're giving level 6 to the Disruptor on bot, so he's going to be pretty fun, actually. He's got decent XP and decent farm, and he's going to have Mana Boots pretty soon. Miracle is just running at Nana.
I mean, it's only a
Yeah,
brown
his
boot
like,
Lesh, but he does have
Is what he
wind
can
waves.
do. He can just run up, Omni you on the tower, and then spin away, and there's nothing you can do or anyone can do to save you.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of scary.
Delicate time for the Lesh. He's got about 1,100 gold. I'll be interested to see what build he goes for. He catches Ninja Boogie here, tries to get in position with the Pulse Nova. Does have the damage, pops the Edict at the end, and that does secure the kill. Now back in the mid lane, Wen goes out on the Jug, but
Jules is under attack. Ogre is ogering, but he's not going to be able to ignite before he gets out of vision, so...
Ogre's in this. He's in it to win it. Static Storm comes out. The silence will push him back. And it looks like
is he going to go back in? Stick? Stun?
damage
No.
exchange. Afu now nearby as we're watching this. Jug didn't end up dying in the mid lane to the Sand King, who does not have his ultimate yet. So that was just a good old-fashioned right-click, burrow strike type setup.
That's very interesting. Okay, so they get the mid tower, which is quite important. Leshrac is actually doing very well now. So he's got his point booster. He's probably going to have a... He doesn't really have room for Soul Ring, so he's just going to be waiting till he gets his Soul booster. So he's going to be given free access to his jungle and maybe go fight bottom after he regens. I'm just really curious to see if Batrider does go drum or if he does try and get the Blink Dagger. I don't think he needs the Blink Dagger just yet, but
Okay.
he might decide to go for it.
Yeah, the drum build is pretty common. The Arcane Boots into drum is a little bit different. I've seen almost exclusively Tranquil or Bottle, and it does give you some nice sustainability. I understand why it's tempting, but it's not something I'm accustomed to seeing. It'd be a nice double stack here. The jungle he can clear out. This is pretty nice for Bocarino. This will get him in Blink territory.
Yeah, he'll have his Blink if he wants it now. We'll find out. In 30 seconds or so.
AM and the Lifestealer still just trading blows up top. Armlet now up on Lifestealer and Anti-Mage. Headdress, Poor Man's Shield, and right into the Battle Fury. It looks like Ring of Health picked up. Could also be a Vanguard, but I think unlikely in this game.
Yeah, I think he's... Well, he could try and go like Vanguard and then Manta and just try and fight his way to victory in this game, but I think he needs a faster Battle Fury, honestly.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't do that bad when if he gets like a faster Manta and then a Vlad's after and then just fights. But I think it would be safer to go for the Battle
It's a little bit scary. The rest of his team is not going to scale nearly as well, especially against the Lifestealer Jug. I think that window where the magic damage carries are really potent. It's a bit smaller than usual. Ninja Boogie coming in on the Sand King, drops a Sentry Ward, but when able to burrow strike to the high ground. We'll have a Juggernaut coming in behind. Miracle uses the stun first, holding on to the Omni Slash for now. Unity ready to chase him down. Is he going to be able to get out of this one? It's going to be a close call. Maybe he can still get off the ult. Silence from the Disruptor. Very nice. Omni Slash, only level 1, just does minimal damage as it splits across the heroes. They secure the kill there. Now Bocarino joining the party. Nana on the high ground. It actually helps keep him alive just a little bit longer. He will fall in the end of the Wrath of the Bat Rider, but a 1 for 2. Unity trade their Lesh for 2 of the cores on the side of Mineski.
Yeah, that felt like Mineski was trying really, really hard to force that. But
might be a 2 for 2.
they're gonna catch
Ogs McGee.
Yeah, they're gonna get...
That sucks.
Oh, Ogre's dead. Poor Ogre.
Poor guy. 2 for 2. Still not bad for Unity. They are behind, so trading evenly does favor them ever so slightly.
Yeah, but this game's getting evened out more and more. And now the Sankey's got his Blink Dagger. The Leshrac has his Mana Boots. He's closing in on Soul Booster. His Bloodstone will be in at the like 5-10 minutes. Honestly, he's not farming too well. Miracle he's falling behind actually. He's only got Phase Drum. He's not really getting that much.
Up top, and Fest Bomb on Oddjit. Do they actually have the damage for this? Telekinesis almost there.
They'll catch him. Yeah,
70 HP. Raging Potato and Hot Pursuit blink up at about
No.
4.
Maybe.
Close, but I think he gets
Oh,
away.
he doesn't have Phase. Oh, I thought he had Phase again, but no, wasn't to be.
Unfortunate. Very close call for the Anti-Mage, though. And meanwhile, the rest of WG.Unity pressuring the Tier 1 down in the bottom lane as the Glyph comes out.
I just thought that AM having only level 2 Blink at this point was quite weird, because he's got... How many points does he have in stats? He's got 1 point in stats.
Oh, Zacky again. TP home. The big boy
He is
makes
off.
it.
Ogre is not dying today.
Man, that Jug was just trying to shave the bacon off his back, but couldn't get down to the core of him. He had so much outer armor.
Yeah. He's got 17 armor, I'll be honest.
Afu walks right into a lasso. This will be a suicide, it looks like, from the Lion. Was a
And now
bit
Sand
awkward.
King is going down too.
Well, those were 2
1 by
freebies
1.
just handed over.
They're gonna lose the... Oh, that tower is very large, but it's still gonna die.
Yep. Now the glyph. Ogs McGee.
Did I hear the bloody cat ward again?
Cat ward?
Yeah, the cat healing ward. That is one of my... Oh, I can't stand it.
Healing ward. I gotta check it out. I think I've heard of this. Mr. Cat in the game. I love it. Zaki Bocarino hits him with a flame break, and this time the ogre will burn. Fried bacon on the menu tonight as now Raging Potato stunned up, hexed up, running low on mana, but does have a stick as well as an armlet that he can toggle. Here we go. Goes right back in. Lesh stun. Not going to do a hell of a lot. Now Nana getting clicked hard. The armlet toggling. It's going to keep him up just a bit longer. This Lifestealer is tanky, but not tanky enough. His team unable to get in position as he goes in a bit too deep. They will just try to cut their losses. Bocarino TP's out, and everyone else from Mineski will indeed escape.
Alright, so the only thing that comes out of that is the ogre falling over and the Nake's dying, so that favors AM. The AM's got like a complete free lane now, so he's going to be able to farm the jungle, he's going to be able to farm some waves. He's getting pretty close to his Battle Fury. Leshrac is getting very close to his Bloodstone, he's only a few hundred gold off now. And Sanking is ulting, gets a double stun.
Oh, daddy. Miracle takes a finger also. Ninja Boogie with no options. Ouch.
Yeah, it just really feels like, okay, Nana is under attack from the Batrider, and he's going to fall.
Lassoed and killed.
Yeah, so the blink is really working out for him. He's got his 4 stuff as well now, so this Batrider is having a really good game. And I'm just looking at this Nakes, really. The Nakes is the only kind of thing. If he doesn't get his Deso in the next few minutes and he somehow dies again, then I'd be worried for Mineski, but I think if he gets his Deso quickly enough, then they will have enough damage to kill the AM if they ever do catch him, which I think they've caught him a few times already, so I don't think that's a
with
very
a lasso,
risky.
as well as a static storm, telekinesis. They've got a lot of ways to just grab him. And this is a fabulous Desolator game. You look at the armor spread on Unity, and it's all very low. AM right now, I think the highest, actually Ogre the highest with 14.
Yeah, Ogre's fucking, yeah.
Yeah, that's a little ridiculous. But AM only has a humble 8 right now. Of course, that will go up, but I think the moral of the story is Desolator will be super effective once Lifestealer gets in and gets some right clicks going. Lesh will just fall over in the duration of Rage.
He will. Okay, so let's look at AM. He's sitting 200 gold off from his Battle Fury. He's going to have it after this wave, most likely. And then he's going to clear out top, and then he's probably going to clear out bottom after Miracle pushes this in.
So
okay, no, he feels too scared.
Peculiar item here. Miracle with a Dragon Lance on the Juggernaut.
Yeah, this is actually becoming more and more common, actually. People have just been buying it as, like, this intermediate, because there's no actual, like... People, when they go Jug Mid, they often want to go Phase Boots, that's for certain. And then they either want to get maybe a drum, but that's getting rarer and rarer. But they know they want to go Diffuse or Manta. But the thing is, you're really squishy. Okay, top fighting.
Fight breaks out. Beautiful ult from the Disruptor. Breaks it up straight away. Allows them to get a kill on the Sand King to follow up on the Lasso. Ninja Boogie steps too far forward. That'll make it a 1-for-1. Support for support. And a break-even trade. Mineski did get the Tier 1 tower down bottom. Juggernaut getting credit for that. So maybe a slight advantage in their favor, but given that Unity are behind, they get an edge on the hero exchange. So, all right, back to this Dragon Lance. Yeah, I mean, I know some heroes do like it just for the stats, but on the Jug...
Yeah, well, it's basically like this.
Point.
So, if you're Jug and you're doing well in middle, okay, you go Phase Boots, you might even get an Aquila sometimes, but he's gone for a drum. But you don't have HP, really. So, you've got this time where you want to go Phase Boots into Yasha, into like Diffusal, then Manta. But in that time, you're sitting at like 1,000 HP. So, if you could pay 1,400 gold to fix that problem, or 1,900 or whatever it is, then I think you just would, because it's cheap HP and it gives you a lot of damage.
Nana burning down to death. It's just an easy kill from Mineski as Lesh takes it. Wen comes in with a pretty big epicenter. Miracle takes the finger. Hex to follow up, but do they actually have the damage to kill this Jug? He's going to burn down from the Ignite.
Spin!
There we go. He does just barely get it off.
Yeah, he left it a bit too long.
Whew.
What was it?
Zaki glimpsed back, and they'll have a kill on the Ogre also. It's a 4-for-0. They have got plenty of damage.
The only time I've ever seen someone die when they didn't need to of a DOT was... Do you remember when Super was playing Invoker, and there was like this Reddit thread about him when he's playing against a Silencer? He was like in this minute-long team fight, and he had the curse on him, and he cast like 20 spells, and he's got this curse lasts like 3 minutes, and he just died. He had a BKB, and he just died.
How long ago was
and
that?
He spent... it was almost probably a year ago or more now, but it was just like... he was waiting. He's pinged literally for 2 minutes in the duration that he was dead. He was just pinging where he died.
Wow. Oh, up top, we're going to see a setup here. Looks like TP's coming in onto the anti-mage. Disruptor
Just crits him.
sets the whole thing up, and man, we're feeling that damage from Raging Potato now. Anti-mage dies so much easier.
So AM is beginning to fall over. He's gonna get his Vlads eventually, but the thing is, in this game, he doesn't have any itemization that means he doesn't die to that. Like, are you gonna buy a Lincoln's? Like, you need to get your Manta, you need to get your Vlads or a Vanguard, and then I just think really they need to take map control and they need to be the ones that are getting these pickoffs. But with their heroes, their Sanking is the only one that can do that, and they have a vision disadvantage at the moment, so it's kind of difficult for them.
Yeah, and now the map's going to be opened up even more. Tier 2 tower up top, soon to fall to the hands of Mineski, though they might have to sacrifice their own Tier 2 in the bottom lane. Lesh doing what Lesh does best. Diabolic Edict. He's even got a Bloodlust so he can run away if things get sticky. Raging Potato will finish off the tower up top. Unity still have their glyph. They don't burn it on the Tier 2, just in case they do go high ground. With the Deso, just a little bit of chip damage to the Tier 3 can actually be pretty value in a situation like this from Mineski, especially when there's just no one to defend. This is free damage.
But this is like risk-free as well. There is no BKB piercing stun apart from AM ulti, so...
And there's... Now, that's a free glyph if I've ever seen one. I mean, Mineski should be very happy with this. They also pull back all of WG.Unity. Remember, he does have the Aegis still on the Lifestealer, so he can afford to be very far forward.
They're going to lose this Tier 3.
Without a glyph, there's nothing they can do but
Yep.
hope for a deny at this point. Bocarino going in, looking for a lasso, gets counter-initiated on, stun, follow-up stun, Batrider's down. They get the tower, though. The Potato goes in, just destroying the Leshrac. Literally killed him in the duration of the rage. Yeah, there's nothing they could do. AM walks out of the Static Storm kinetic field. Sand King gets off an Epicenter, but minimal damage. Hits Ninja Boogie, but they've got Null Field. They'll kill the Sand King. He's dead without buyback. Lesh on the way back up. He did have a 12-charge Bloodstone, so a pretty short death timer, but they still have the Aegis on this Lifestealer. That's one of the scariest parts about this fight. Rage on, Zaki getting low, but now the Potato starting to take some right clicks. Nice stun, connects onto the Lesh. Jug on his way in, double cast onto Miracle. He gets fingered, and it is the end of the Juggernaut before he can even get off that Omni Slash. Oh boy.
So that was just Lesh dying and Sand King dying. They trade 2 for 2, and they get Tier 3 in range rack. So probably not the best for Mineski. They could have probably got a lot more out of that if they played a little bit further back and were hitting the racks during the fight. It's one of those situations where you feel that going in is going to be a really good fight, and then it turns out it's just worse than actually just hitting the buildings and then catching them as they try and initiate on you.
I think it could have been a lot better if the Juggernaut got his ult off. It would have done a lot of return damage, and he would have survived a little bit longer, too.
Yeah, the only person this line has fingered in this game is Juggernaut.
Oh, no. Daddy. The Potato. It looked like he was going for the standard Echo Saber build. Instead, he just decides to transition into an Orchid, and it's the perfect item against this anti-mage because he is still so far away from Manta.
Yeah, he's not very farmed, and he needs to be. That's all that really can be said. And now they're going to be pushing in the middle lane. They're going to try and take over the Dire jungle. Batrider has BKB parts, but he hasn't got it quite yet. He's got his Ether Lens.
And a Battle Fury on the way.
If they get a pick
Miracle.
off, then they'll get this tower middle. Miracle is just going to... He's going Battle Fury, yeah. I would think you usually want to go Diffuse or Manta, but it's usually the more accepted mid-jug build, but some people go Battle Fury anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it is some farming insurance, but I think it's also just for damage. Another great counter-initiation onto Bocarino. We've seen this story once before. This time he survives, at least through the initial burst, but the Ignite might still tick him down. Finger follow-up brings down the Leshrac. It is still a nice kill for Mineski. Another Epicenter comes out, does some decent damage, secures the kill on the bat, yeah. But is he going to be punished now? Juggernaut wasn't in the party at the party in the beginning. Now he's on the way up. Jules in some trouble. Yule's Scepter maybe making some space. Oh, the Glimmer Cape actually going to keep him alive. Now the Raging Potato is here. They destroy the Anti-Mage again. Ninja Boogie relatively healthy. Glimpse back onto Wen. Nowhere for the Sand King to go, and he will not be able to find this kill. The Disruptor taunting him just barely falls short. The stolen Burrow Strike now trying to finish him off, but they will use an Omni Slash for that. Okay. Well, Miracle gets it off this time at least. Anti-Mage, no buyback. This will be a difficult defense to make. Sand King has one. He'll use it straight away. Potato?
Raging Potato walks up the high ground. Immediately gets chain disabled for 7 seconds now.
Liver
8
Cape
seconds.
doing a lot of work, though. Now he turns it on, pops the rage, goes clicking. Yule's Scepter buys Lesh a little bit of time, but time is all. He's probably still going to go down here. Lion Finger not finding the kill. Raging Potato trying to armlet toggle. Nice stun back in from Ninja Boogie. A lot of reinitiation in this fight. Both sides playing this tug of war, but it is Mineski that will find the superior numbers. They'll get a kill on the Ogre, but now Anti-Mage on his way back from the respawn. And they will keep the melee barracks standing. It is a defense for WG.Unity, but it's a 1 for 5 overall. Sand King died, bought back, and died again. Nearly a 3k net worth swing.
Yeah, this is basically the main winner of this is just Nakes. He's just got like 4,000 net worth in the last 5 minutes. So he's the one killing the AM every single time.
Here we go. Finally,
Rest
Bocarino gets the initiation he's been looking for.
Because every single time he's gone in, someone has already precasted their stun on him. It happened with the Sand King and it happened with the Lion.
Yep.
And it's just really, really frustrating when that happens, because how do you play against that without a BKB? Like,
well, that's why he went BKB, I guess.
Yeah, that's why he's
1,000 gold off.
So AM is now, he's a full ultimate orb cost away from his Manta style, so he's still got a few more minutes to farm, but even when he does get Manta, then he has to save Manta for the Orchid, and then an AM without a Manta in a team fight is pretty lackluster, so...
Yeah, this Orchid was such a smart pickup. You see it on Lifestealer occasionally, but in situations like this, it really is the perfect item, and it does give Lifestealer some decent stats. He's okay with that damage, attack speed. The Int, not really so helpful, but that active has turned him into just a killing machine. 12, 2, and 4 now on Rage.
I think the main thing also is that you don't expect that. You see the Oblivion stuff and you go, that's going to be an Echo Saber, I don't have to worry about him, and then you blink into trees and it's like, oh god, I can't speak, and then you die.
Yeah.
So
it's a
he's
cool
very farmed. He's got his
transition.
Hyperstone. He might still get bursted, but it's unlikely now, because in the past, whenever they get a good chain disable going, Disruptor just walks in and just drops his ulti, and then everyone kind of has to stop, which is...
By the way, I want to comment on this build for the Rubik. Straight pipe. Arcane Boot pipe. He really is a walking null field at this point with the additional pipe aura.
Yeah, he doesn't mess around.
It's actually...
He knows what he wants to do, dude.
Yeah, it's actually pretty ridiculous. It adds so much survivability to the team against all this magic damage. We talked about it in the draft, but a good call from Ninja Boogie. I just like the way he's itemized here. And even picking up additional infused raindrops now.
Yeah. He just doesn't intend on taking any magic damage whatsoever, to be honest. And Disruptor's sitting with his Yules and Glimmer Cape, so this Disruptor just doesn't die. He's actually more farmed than the Sand King, along with the actually Rubicus as well. In fact, if AM keeps dying, this Disruptor's going to start catching up to him.
Ooh, interesting choice now from Miracle. He picks up a Hurricane Pike.
Alright.
Not an item that I would have expected to see on Juggernaut ever, really. This reminds me of the time Lumi was trying to tell me how good Echo Saber would be on Weaver, except he forgot that Echo Saber doesn't work on ranged heroes. Kind of the same thing with Hurricane Pike here. It's a lot of that active is the value is in the unlimited attack range and all that stuff. I guess it is still kind of cool to disengage for the Jug. It lets you reset to get off your ult, but unconventional
honestly,
to say the least. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It increases the stats a little bit, but the active obviously doesn't really help you very much. So I guess he decided he had 3,000 gold and he didn't feel like he wanted to go Diffusal or Manta or anything like that. He's probably just going to use it to force the Nakes out of trouble, most likely.
Yeah.
Because that's the best way I see him using it. Oh,
I mean, this is one of those games, well, now they're going to walk right into Nana. They could use a Diffusal Blade at this point. The Ghost Scepter comes, but it's
BKBs,
not going to matter.
Nothing happens.
Oh, Bat Rider, please, not like this. They'll still bring down Nana. Afu gets destroyed as he gets grabbed by the lasso. It's a fast 2-0. No buyback available on either hero, and now the real high ground siege begins. At this point, doesn't really matter what item Miracle buys. They're far enough ahead that they might be able to win this game before it even ends up in his inventory.
So I like that. Bat Rider BKBs, he walks up the high ground, 3 people blink away from him. Lion happened to blink onto the low ground in front of the Bat Rider's team, which wasn't exactly the most fortunate of blink locations. So he died very soon after.
Yep.
And now with the AC on Nakes and with Miracle's 5,000 gold in the stash, they're going to take the racks.
So he's got a full Diffusal now. Also,
oh, AM Manta, it's here. Are you ready? He's blinked in.
Raging Potato is going to just walk away. Okay.
That was really, really anticlimactic, I'll be honest.
Now Miracle's here on the high ground. He's got an Omni Slash and a Battle Fury. He could actually turn into a lot of damage. The Hex, but no follow-up from the Lion. They do have a finger. Just need to be a little cautious about how they use it. Now Wen comes in. A nice ult on 3. Miracle gets off the spin, but he might still die. The right clicks. Not enough.
Saki's had enough
Cape
of him,
comes
dude.
through.
Oh no, he didn't chase him.
Now on the other side, the Potato stunned up, stunned again. He's out of mana, but his team could still reinitiate. Not in time. Mana Void secures the kill, and it's a godlike streak going the way of AM. It's a good turnaround, but unfortunately you can't really call it a hold, even though that one kill was a 3,400 net worth swing.
Anti-mage grows stronger, bit by bit.
That
He's
Manta really
crawling
did
up
a
the
number
number.
on him, man. It's like you pick up the Manta, it's 1,600 gold bonus.
Yeah. So, Nakes has died, which is unfortunate for him, but it's probably going to make them realize maybe we shouldn't walk in one by one and then get Sanking stunned and then AM ulted and die. So, they're probably going to group up fairly soon. They have the 4 stuff up on Disruptor. He's going the mech after the pipe. What a build. He doesn't need mobility. He doesn't need to do anything. He just needs to. He's just there.
What a team
All he
player.
needs to be is to be there.
I can just hear it on their team speak now. I'm here, guys. Let's fight. Let's go. You've got the auras. The buckler is ready.
So, Jules is gonna make a foray into the enemy ancients with his illusions providing vision. Oh no, he's just gonna walk over. He's probably just gonna nuke the wave, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
even if WG saw him, would they go on him?
I don't know. We'll see about the Lion. That's going to be an easy setup. Afu gets punished for stealing the Lion from the prized Ninja Boogie. Kill's got to feel
They
good.
let the courier live. Very merciful.
Yeah, it is a cute courier, let's be real. Captain Bamboo, he deserves to live. Surely they pick and choose based on which courier the other team's using. Naked Greevil's dead every time.
Yeah, I remember the Greebles event. That was... How long ago was that? That was very, very
That was,
long
what
ago.
was that, like Frostivus 2012, maybe?
Yeah,
that?
I think so.
Very long time ago. I remember it, though. That was back in the
My
heyday.
Greevel owned. My Greevel
I have the
absolutely
naked
destroyed
Greevel.
nerds.
I like the
I have like a
Naked
special
Greevel.
super color Greevel. He does lots of damage.
I relate to the Naked Greevel. I know what he's feeling, and you know, I see that little look in his eye, and I just think, you know what, buddy, you deserve a little bit of spotlight. Underloved
I laugh at him
courier.
because he's poor.
He is poor. Yeah, he is. That's like the way he shakes his little butt. It's pretty cute.
Alright, man.
All right, bottom lane, about to be under siege. There is no glyph. This is the final hold for WG.Unity. The Lesh, only big core with buyback in. Here we go. Bat Rider jumps in straight away. Nana isolated. They kill the Ogre Magi first. He'll buy back, but Kinetic Field doing a lot of work, locking everyone in place, and nobody on Mineski even getting low. It's just an absolute slaughter. Both buybacks used as the carries charge forward. They'll intercept and force the GG. Mineski take game number 1, 34-17 in this best-of-3 elimination series. WG.Unity up against the ropes here as their magic damage lineup gets trunced over. I wanted to believe in the Lesh, but it just did not pack the punch against Lifestealer Juggernaut combo.
Yeah, I think their lanes just went really, really badly. And honestly, I think the AM, if they took control of the enemy jungle and then tried to get the AM to farm his own Ancients and the the Radiant Woods, then he would have had a much better time. Because basically, Mineski kept running up top, and they kept getting a free AM kill every single time they rotated more than 3 heroes up there. And I don't think you can really allow that to happen if your draft is entirely reliant on the anti-mage being farmed, which this draft was.
Yeah.
Because the Leshrac, he had some hope, and then he kept getting caught, and then chunked by the Lifestealer, and then it wasn't really feasible. So, I think they just needed to have a better idea of where they wanted to move on the map, and then really understand what they were getting into when they allowed the Bat Rider to have such a free lane. So,
Yep. All right, well, game 1 in the books. Mineski just looking good across the board with their aggro tri-lane. Off-lane Lifestealer on the 1, 15, 3, and 5. The Raging Potato had a pretty good showing with his creative item build as well. We're going to have a break and then come back for game 2 and see if Mineski takes this 2-0 or if WG.Unity can move us into an ace match in their fight for survival. I'm Zyori, he's Rhyme. You're watching moonducktv. This is the Mr. Cat Invitational. Stick around because there is more Dota 2 coming your way after this.